What's up, guys? So if you're watching this, you're probably either one of my friends or you're wondering what I am doing with my life and why I'm posting a YouTube video. So that's totally cool. I appreciate you clicking on the link and checking it out, or just finding the video and giving it a watch. But basically, I wanted to start a YouTube channel kind of telling the story of how I hopefully build a successful business. And what I've done to get as far as I have. I just had a place close a couple days ago. It was my first place this year. And by a place, I mean real estate, obviously. If you guys know me, you know that that's what I like to do is real estate. And so that's kind of where I've been focusing, is on real estate investing rather than just being a broker. So we're actually headed to this place right now, and I'll hopefully show you guys just where it's at and what it looks like on the outside. I'm not going to take you through it or anything because it's closed and I no longer have any sort of rights to any sort of contract with it. But I'll break all the numbers down and break everything that I looked at in order to find this deal and get it under contract and stuff like that, so that hopefully you guys can learn and maybe somebody will do it the way that I did it and make some money for themselves. But there's a lot of channels out there. There's a lot of different ways you can learn, whether it's through YouTube, checking out house flippers like Ryan Pineda, or investors like Grant Cardone, or whoever it might be, or even forums like Bigger Pockets. But a lot of them aren't like somebody starting out right from the beginning, where they literally have no idea what a cap rate is or how to put something in contract or whatever it is, and then going out and doing what they said they were going to do and making some money and being successful. So obviously I'm not what I would consider successful, because I haven't really made very much money. I've made money, but I'm not where I want to be at all. So I want to just document it and see if I can teach you guys, and hopefully some people out there that are interested in real estate or want to try to do this learn something, and maybe we can work together on something in the future. So with that being said, if you have any questions, shoot me a message, shoot me a comment, shoot me a DM. I'll put, as long as I can figure out how to do it, all of my social media stuff in the caption, as well as some other YouTube channels where you guys can like learn some stuff if you really want to, and any sort of information like that. So we're driving to this place right now. When we get there, I'll break it all down for you, and then once as we get back to my office, I will break it down on my laptop and show you like the numbers look for it. And that way, you know, hopefully you guys learn something and you can go from there. All right, guys, so we're here, but it's really, really cluttered because it snowed a bunch last night in Maine. So I'll show you, it's right up there in the back there. It's the 3-unit back there. But yeah, so it's really cluttered, as you can see here. It's really, really tight. But yeah, so sorry for the sporadicness of that part. It was just pretty backed up. So I will break it down for you once as I get back. But this is what Biddeford, Maine looks like, in case anybody was wondering. So yeah. All right, guys, so we're back at my office. Sorry that I couldn't really show you the place very much. There was a couple people waiting, and we're kind of pissed that I stopped. So hate to say it, but I'll just have to keep talking, I guess. So that place, like I said, just closed a couple days ago. Closed at $320, which is a really, really good price for the area. Biddeford multis are like super, super hot right now, as I'm sure pretty much anywhere is. If you live anywhere that's like part of a city, suburbs, has a decent population or growing population, people are moving there, right now is super hot for the real estate market. So just like anywhere else, the prices are really, really going up. So they've seen a serious uptick this past year. And so this guy that I ended up getting the place in contract with, I'd kind of been thinking about selling it. wasn't really sure. Like, knew that now was kind of the time because obviously the prices had risen so much that he just kind of wanted his money, wanted to get out. So he originally wanted a little bit more than 320. I talked him down to that just by offering him cash. That's just kind of a basic way to hopefully get a better price, is offer someone a quicker close or an easier process. Basically, you just try to fit the needs of the person that you're talking with and see what would help them out, so then they can in turn help you out. So 320 is a pretty significant number with this one because the way that I try to invest in real estate and also the people that I know that do it around here is with as little money out of my own or their own pockets as possible. So most people are going to like write this off and say it's impossible to invest without any money and nobody's going to give you the money for it and all this other stuff. So I'm going to break it all down and how, if I had closed it myself, how it would have gone and how it's going to go for this other person that I sold it to. So the purchase price, like I said, is $320,000, and that is roughly 70% of what the market value of the asset is right now. So the market value of the asset is probably between 460 and 480, 490. So if we do 460,000 times 70%, that's 322. So when you're investing in real estate, the 70% rule is a pretty important one. If you guys don't know what it is, definitely read up on it. I think that's probably the most important one when it comes to being in stuff for as little money as possible. The reason why is if you find a good enough deal, you can buy it with somebody else's cash, not your own. They will put up the loan for a short period of time. It's called a hard money loan. Um, and basically they'll charge you really, really high interest on this cash that they gave you, and they'll also charge you money up front. Now, the person that I sold it to is just going to fix a little bit of siding on the side of the house and going to refinance the property pretty quickly. Some banks will have, like, it's called a seasoning period, where they won't be able to refinance an existing loan for a certain number of time, usually 3 to 6 months. But some banks don't care; they'll refinance it right away. So the person that is buying this or bought this is going to refinance with the bank that he uses right away, and he expects the asset to come in at an appraised value of, I think last he was saying it was like 490. But even if we just do 475 times, most places commercially will cash out refinance at 75% of the appraised value of the property or the broker's opinion of the property, or whatever it is, whatever kind of route you take. So if we do 475 times 0.75, we come out to 356 250. So that's like right in the middle of where he thinks it's going to appraise for, right? So 356 250. So in your head you're probably thinking, wait, he bought it for 320 roughly, and he gets a cash out refinance for 356 250. So when he refinances that check, he's going to own the property and he's going to get money back just for owning the property. And I'm going to break it down and how it works on Excel for you guys, but that is basically what's happening. The guy that's closing it is going to get a check at closing just for owning this property, and he's also going to have a rentable property that's mostly rented right now. 2 out of the 3 units are full, with appreciating rents and appreciating asset, and somebody else paying his mortgage, his taxes, all that stuff, while he's also making money from them paying him. Again, I'll break this all down. I hope it's not too confusing right off the bat, but I wanted to just show you guys the power that real estate does have if you know how to work with it and if you know what you're doing. So let's go into the Excel. Hopefully I can figure out how to screen record on my laptop, and I'll show you guys all the numbers and hopefully get somebody thinking, damn, this is pretty cool. I want to try to figure it out for myself. So we're going to break down the numbers for the 3 unit and what it would look like if I actually purchased it and refinanced it. Now, obviously, these numbers are going to be off of what I would get for interest and points and all that stuff, rather than somebody that's a lot more experienced, like the person that I sold it to. They would get a more favorable interest rate here and less points and maybe even less like costs and fees. But I'm going to go through it pretty quick just so the video is not too long. And this part might bore some people. So here we go. So 320 purchase price. Your rent is right here. That's just from asking the homeowner what his contracts are for. So you just add those up right there. That's what our rent roll is. We can also equate for, when we improve the rents and stuff and get them up to market. But we're not going to do that necessarily for this. So rent roll per month, rent roll per year. Now, with the hard money loan right here, like I said, it's a super, super high interest rate loan, because it's risky. It's a risky investment for the people giving you that loan, and the companies giving you that loan. So that's why it's super high interest. And that's also why there's a high amount of points associated with the loan. Now, points are 1 point is 1% of the loan. And that's just a payment paid up front, basically for the service. So you're not getting this money back, essentially. You're also not getting this money back. Um, so the hard money loan that I would get, I would put 10% down on. Now, 5.5%, the 4.5 and the 1 would go to the hard money lender, and I wouldn't get that back. The rest of it would go towards the loan balance. That's why this loan balance is a little bit different than the 320 over here, just so that you have some skin in the game. Pretty much any hard money lender will make you do that unless you're really, really seasoned and good at your job. So then we get 13% interest off of this to get this. And that is the breakdown per month. So that's how much interest you're going to pay on the loan per month. $3,328, which is a crazy amount of interest, right? That's like a mortgage payment. But if we go back to the rent roll, we're actually making more in rent than we are paying out in interest. So right off the bat, even though it's going to take us a couple of months to refinance into a commercial loan with an actual like reasonable interest rate of like 4.5, whatever, up until that point, you're not really going to be losing money as long as you're doing it right. So that kind of hedges the risk on that a little bit. Now, obviously, you need cash reserves just in case something does go bad, but that's the good thing about having a rental on a hard money loan is you can kind of counteract the worst part of it, which is the interest. So right here, like I said, it could appraise for anywhere between 460 and 490. We're going to put it at 470, just middle of the pack. You never really want to go for the highest. And the reason being is that should be kind of your best case scenario. But you don't want to bet on that because appraisals can be all over the place. They're difficult to really iron down. It's easier with a smaller property like a 3 unit because there's probably a comparable that sold a couple streets over a couple months ago, and they'll just use that number in order to gauge it. But yeah, so like I said earlier, we're going to go for about 470, and most commercial lenders will lend you out to 75%, this number right here, of the value of the property. So the value is 470, 75% of it is 0.75. So we have $352,500 is what they'll give you a loan for. But your loan only costs you $307,000, right? So basically, if you're thinking about it now, you're going to make money when you refinance the loan. And I'm sure some people are like, that doesn't make any sense. How can you get paid, right, for owning a property when you just bought it? If you buy it with this strategy using the 70% rule and the cash, the hard money loan, and you refinance and you do everything right, that's the point of it. It's essentially, it's called a BRRRR. Bigger Pockets, I believe, coined that term. So if you guys want to learn about that, we can talk about that in another video, or you can research it on your own. But basically, the point of it is to buy the property, improve the property, refinance the property, and hopefully get your money back, if not make money on the back end. So the difference between this and that is right here, 45,300. Now, obviously, we paid stuff for this loan, so we paid points, we paid costs that we're not going to get back. So that's roughly 45,300 minus, we'll say 3,200 and minus 1,440. So that comes out to almost $30,000 that the person that bought this property should be able to get a check for, um, just for improving it, making the necessary changes, and basically owning it. And they're also going to have an asset that I'm not going to break this down in this video because it might get too long, but an asset that will cash flow, and will give you money every single month in your pocket, whether you're including, every single expense possible. That doesn't matter. It's going to give you money in your pocket just for owning it and managing it and running it well. Um, and yeah, so it's pretty crazy if you think about it. But there are ways to basically get investments with little to no money. Um, and it's hard to do, and the deals are super hard to find, but if you find it, then you should be confident in it. So I hope you guys enjoyed this breakdown, and I'll see you in a second. We'll close the video out. Thank you. I'm pretty much finished, so hopefully you guys enjoyed it, and I am going to try to be posting every other Monday, so if you want to come check it out, please do so. Throw it a like, throw it a comment, subscription, whatever, DM me. I don't really care. Do something. But going forward, I am trying to expand to some hotter markets, and some basically like big city areas that are seeing huge growth in real estate and huge demand for it. So if anybody has any connections to Nashville, Tallahassee, Phoenix, Houston, or any other like big cities that's not New York City, let me know. Let me know who you know there, and I'd love if you could set up like a connection for me, just so I can talk to that person and go from there, and see what we can do. And even if we just have a conversation about the place that they live, information's always welcome. So I would appreciate that. And going forward, I hope you guys enjoy whatever I post, and can learn something from it. And I'm going to leave with a quote from Andrew Carnegie, that pretty much every real estate investor ever sticks to, and kind of like uses as the reason that they buy real estate and that they invest. But I hope somebody that hasn't seen it looks at it and is like, oh shit, like that's pretty dope. So check it out, and research whatever you guys are interested in, and get back to me with some questions, DMs, comments, whatever. So I'll see you 2 Mondays from now. Thank you. Appreciate it.